urgent warning, folks, from not only the FDIC, but banks now making announcements that they are likely preparing to collapse. A banking collapse predicted by many, and it looks like soon to happen with recent announcements made by the FDIC themselves that banks will close on a Friday. Today is Friday, February 24, 2023, and just 2 days ago, 3 banks announced they are likely to collapse within the next 10 days. With shocking warnings and messages like these here, Mensa Thompson said, in the next 10 days, if nothing is done, 3 banks likely to go down. One other bank is also very shaky, and another shaky bank can only survive the next 10 days if its parent bank brings down some money. There's a series of catastrophic storms blowing in our financial sector. Just 10 days and the storm will be at its peak. This is happening all around the world, and it's only a matter of time before it reaches us here in the good old US of A. The banks are experiencing a huge liquidity crisis. And folks, Robert Kiyosaki, famous Rich Dad, Poor Dad author and investor with a net worth of nearly over $100 million, said it himself. Warning, the biggest crash of our lifetime is here. Have a look.
I have bad news for you. It's here. We're going down big time this year. I'm predicting the biggest crash 2023. And so that's why we're glad you listened, so you don't have to be a victim of all this wokeism and stupidity out there in the marketplace. And the trouble with the real estate market, the stock market, bond market, real estate market. Trouble with the real estate market, when it goes down, it's like a sinkhole. It takes businesses, neighborhoods, it takes everything with them because it affects so many more people. Where a stock, you could lose Apple and you're not in Apple, it doesn't affect you. But when you lose a business or real estate and all this, it takes everything down with them. So that's why right now there's migrations out of certain states and into certain states. And the reason I like oil is because you can't print oil. You can print stocks, you can print ETFs, you can print money, but you can't print oil, yet at least.
The people have already shown their desperation and methods and just the extent of how far they will go to retaliate against banks after all their money has been seized, leaving them high and dry. Checking accounts and savings accounts wiped out completely, drained overnight, fully depleted of all their funds, years of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, all taken away from them in the blink of an eye. A recent story of an attack on banks in Lebanon after account funds have been bailed in, used by banks and bail-ins at Beirut banks, result in non-peaceful protests and rioting as the crisis we have all been preparing for begins to unfold. According to reports, several dozen people in Lebanon attacked banks on Thursday and blocked roads. And it reads here, they are protesting against the informal restrictions on cash withdrawals in place for years of financial crisis that prevent Lebanese from getting their hands on their own savings. The crisis has slashed the value of the Lebanese pound, the nation's currency, by more than 98% since 2019. That would be the equivalent of $1 only being now worth about 2 pennies. And this should really have everyone up in arms. Banks being compared to and looked at as mafia-like thieves and criminals in a country that experiences periods of no electricity and no water at times. It's moments like these when you can see that these banks have no feelings for the people. They only see us as sheep for the most part. At least 6 banks were targeted as the currency hit a new record low value on Thursday, and all the depositors can really do now, besides hope and pray, is seek access to their funds through lawsuits. Now, lacking cash and unable to pay for basics like food, bills, or even healthcare, and we all know how long, drawn out, expensive, and lengthy court litigation can be. And then if you happen to win the case, the lion's share of the judgment will be awarded to the legal teams, attorneys, and just some pennies on the dollar may be distributed to you over an annuity-based repayment plan period that will deposit about $20 into your bank account every 30 days. Hardly a win if you ask me. So what is the alternative? Well, some are considering taking their money back by force, and people are trying to stage holdups. And as the value of the Lebanese pound continues to fall, which was previously 80,000 pounds to the dollar and since fallen to some 70 pounds to the dollar, Lebanon's central bank has shown intense struggle in attempting to manage this crisis and has not yet responded to requests from media outlets on why the pound had crashed and what it was doing to address the issue. Needless to say, all these people are totally now. And we all have to ask the question, Will we be next? Is this what we could expect to see happen as history repeats itself and the US dollar crashes in value, loses its status as a reserve currency worldwide, and then is confiscated and then taken away from the people through their very own bank accounts using bank bail-ins? In Lebanon, some people were millionaires in dollars but now don't have a penny in their pockets because the banks stole everything from them, and they are benefiting from the corrupt state system and judiciary to hide this crime in plain daylight. The FDIC themselves, on record, seen on a leaked, dark, and ominous meeting of wealthy elites, even said it themselves: "We will close the banks on a Friday." And the FDIC does not have the available liquid assets to cover all bets when the banks all fail. My greatest fear isn't so much what will we all do when we lose all of our money and people see huge chunks of their wealth disappear overnight. Nope. I fear what people will do when they get so desperate that they feel as though they have nothing left to lose.